Managing wildlife means more than just counting animals. According to the Montana.gov official state website, wildlife management is defined as the science and art of managing wildlife and its habitat. Today I'll be talking about 3 points. The importance of what hunting does to help game management. The second one is how people upset the balance and also create the balance of game management. And the third one is how wildfires have destroyed the balance and yet have helped some creatures. The first one I'm going to talk about is how hunting is important in game management. Hunting tags and licenses are important in game management because an example of this is in the 19th century, bison were almost hunted to extinction from around 30 million to 325 in 1884. Their population is now back up to around 500,000 today because of good wildlife management American forces. Because of our good wildlife management, we are now able to hunt these amazing animals after being issued a tag and still have a good number of bison left. In other cases, we were too late to start in our management of some animals. One sad example is the passenger pigeon, which was the first animal to become extinct in the 20th century. This bird was endemic to North America, where it was the most common bird with a population of between 3 and 5 billion. According to the World Atlas, another reason hunting helps with game management is that if we didn't hunt, most of the elk and deer population would be wiped out by just wolves and mountain lions and other predatory animals. But with hunting, we get rid of some of those predators and create a balance. Although I talked about hunting regulations having served its purpose by saving our wildlife, I am next going to talk about is easier to control humans and their interactions with wildlife than it is to control wildlife itself. According to an article in Bartleby.com, it is easier to manage people and their interactions with wildlife than it is to manage wildlife itself. Putting limitations on where people can hunt or use motorized vehicles or interact with wildlife allows the population of animals to start to grow. By humans coming into animals' habitats, it angers the balance, pushing the wildlife out of their habitat. But humans need nature's products. They need wood and forest products. They need to mine. They also need the meat that they get from animals. And they need to escape society sometimes and spend some time in nature. It is up to the human to create and maintain this balance. The last and final point I'm going to talk about is how forest management is intertwined with game management. I've been talking about how humans have an impact on animal population. However, good wildlife management goes hand in hand with forest management. As seen in this year's wildfires, areas that have had selective cutting and backburns, areas that have had selective cutting and backburns and have allowed wood gathering were not as greatly affected as areas that have been untouched. It didn't just affect the land, it affected all the wildlife that lived where the fires were. According to recent articles published by National Geographic, California is having a record-breaking fire season. Blazes have burned more than 2 million acres of land, the most on record for a single fire season. Nobody knows how many animals have died in these fires because this information isn't tracked by region. Wildlife has to choose whether to flee or hide. Many species actually require fire. Heat from the flames can stimulate some fungi, like morel mushrooms, to release spores. Certain plants will seed only after a blaze, and some animals, such as mule deer and black woodpeckers, require burned areas to both eat and nest. As you see, everyone plays a role in game management. Game management is the art and science of managing wildlife. I talked about how hunting helps game management, how it is easier to control people than game management, and how forest management connects with game management. A simple act of kindness and compassion towards a single animal may not mean anything to all creatures, but will mean everything to one. Paul Oxton.